Today I want to demonstrate some of the foundation stitches to crochet, which are chaining and also single crochet. So in future videos, I intend to cover half double crochet, treble crochet, the magic ring, and how to read a pattern. All these things are really important to learn how to do if you want to be successful in your crochet. All those videos will be saved in a video playlist. I have a video that talks about the things that you might want to start with if you are just beginning in crochet, and I will go ahead and link that in the description so that if you have a question on, hey, where do I get that different item, that all of that information is covered there. So I talk about yarn, and I talk about hooks, and I talk about other tools that you may consider having for your beginning crochet. This video is going to be a foundation of your crochet, the chaining and the single crochet. These things are really important to learn how to do. If you learn how to chain and to single crochet and you practice it, you're going to be able to make beautiful blankets and beautiful amigurumi, because that's the foundation of all the crochet, is chaining and also single crochet. In future videos, I'm going to be covering half double crochet, treble crochet, the magic ring, and how to read a pattern. For today, we're going to stay with the basics. One thing to consider when you are crocheting is whether or not your crochet pattern is written in US terms or UK terms. For today's demonstration, this is US terms. Today, I'm going to be using the simple 5mm hook right here, and also acrylic yarn. And this is, I love this yarn that can be found at Hobby Lobby, but if you have a good acrylic yarn, you can use Red Heart, you can use something that's not too fuzzy, but just very, let's see if I can focus. See how there's not really any fuzz to that? That's what you want. So let's start with our posture. You need to relax when you're crocheting. A lot of people get uptight and stressed. I know when I first started crocheting, I would find myself just really, really tight when I'm crocheting. You don't need to do that. Just relax. Relax your shoulders, put your shoulders back, and be in a comfortable position of sitting up and sitting up straight. That'll help you not be wonky on your wrists, not be wonky on your shoulders or your elbows, or make your muscles too sore. There are different ways to hold your crochet hook. Knife grip, which is like this. I use the pencil grip. Okay, one other thing that we need to talk about is if you are right-handed or you're left-handed. Now, I probably just mirrored what you were saying or seeing on the screen. So for me, I'm right hand dominant. So for this video's purpose, I'm going to flip it so that my right hand, you're going to be like looking over my shoulder as I crochet. That's something that's a little trippy. And so it's sometimes difficult for left-handed crocheters. There is a fellow crocheter that I learned from in the very beginning, and she's got some fun free patterns and everything. But she has instructions on how to crochet left-handed. If you feel like this tutorial is not working for you, I will link her in the description below. She's super helpful. First thing that seems to trip people up is the slip knot in the very, very beginning. So I taught a class to the young woman in our church youth group a couple weeks ago, and they gave me half an hour to teach how to crochet. I was so I thought, I don't know if 30 minutes is going to be long enough to teach them many things, but we'll go with that. 20 minutes of the time was spent trying to do or work the slip knot. So I'm going to demonstrate two different ways on how to do a slip knot. One way of creating a slip knot around, so then you put the top loop through, pull up, and then you have two on the bottom. There's your slip knot. Now put your crochet hook in there, and you put the hook part, that's your driving part, that's going to be grabbing your yarn, and I just kind of put it at an angle and I pull up, and you'll see that it gives you just a little bit of space between your knot and your hook. Not my preferred method. So I give myself a tail, wrap it around my 2 fingers, I hold it loosely with my thumb. With my crochet hook, I slip it through this that's wrapped around. I grab this from the back with my hook, pull it through and pull it up. I let go, take both ends. You can see that I'm taking both ends, and I pull up, and there's my slip knot. If you want to practice either way to do these slip knots, either on the table or on your hook, go ahead and pause the video right now and do about 10 of those just to get the hang of it. Muscle memory is really important, and the more you do it, I promise you will get better at it. And if you feel frustrated, believe me, it takes a while to adjust and get a hold of this one. Preferred way of doing my slip knot. All right. Now we are going to chain. Now I need to show you how I do that because I just did that habitually. My opposite hand that is not holding the hook is going to create the tension or how tight my yarn is going to be. So I personally like to wrap it around my pinky and then wrap it around my forefinger. I hold the bottom of the knot. This gives you tension. If you don't have that tension, you're not going to be able to do much of anything. Your hook and your pencil grip, you're going to take your hook, and with the curved part, you are going to take it under the yarn, grab it with the hook, and pull up. Now as I chain, I move my hand up. So the part that is holding to the piece of material that I'm going to be crocheting. So here I am going to do it again. Take it under with the hook, pull up. Did you see my fingers? I moved up to the third one. Take it under with the hook, pull up. If you look, my chains are fairly even. Okay, that's what you want. That's the look that you want. You don't want it too big, you don't want it too tight. You want it like this. So I suggest that you pause the video and that you practice chaining for 3 times, chain up about 15. Now we're going to do a single crochet. We've chained 15, and now we're going to single crochet. Now in the stitch, you are going to crochet in the second stitch from the hook. So there's going to be one in between, then the second one. I don't know if you can see that. Not this one that's right on the hook, but the second one down. You're going to put your hook in there, and you're going to come up underneath your yarn with the hook part. You're going to grab it and pull it through. Now you have 2 loops on your chain. You're going to take your hook again with the hook part and go under. You're going to do that same stitch again. Your hook into the hole. You're underneath your yarn. You're going to take the hook and grab it with the hook. Pull it up. Now you have 2 on the chain. See how I'm using my other fingers to hold myself steady? That gives that tension so that my stitches are the same. Now I'm going to take the hook and grab it with my hook part and pull it through. All right, we're going to keep doing the same thing. Stick it in the hole underneath, grab it with the hook, pull it up. I have 2 underneath, and pull one through. I'm just going to continue to do that. All right, you can follow along. If I am moving too fast, please pause, because I am going to show you how to continue your work and flip your work. So I'm going to keep doing the same thing. Crocheting down. Now you can go back and you can count your stitches. Now this first part is a little bit harder to see. I'll try and get this real close for you. So here's the stitches. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So because we chained 15 and then we started 2 down from the hook, it subtracts 1. Now when you're crocheting and you see these 2 loops, sometimes we will crochet in the front loop and sometimes we crochet in the back loop, and those will be noted on your patterns that you're reading, but most of the time you will crochet underneath both of the loops. So today we're going to be crocheting under both of the loops because we're single crocheting, just regular single crochet. So now that we're at the end of the row, how do we keep working? Well, you will chain 1. We already know how to do that. And then you flip your work, kind of page in the book, and then you're going to work into this hole right here underneath those 2 loops. So same thing, underneath, grab it, pull it up. There we go. Now we're going to count this time so that you can follow along. And I'll try and go slow, and if I go too fast, please pause the video and work at your own pace. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. We're just going to continue to do that. So I will chain 1 and flip it like here. It's really important to keep track of what your count is because it'll start looking funky if you don't. So just keep doing the same thing. We're going to do it for a couple rows. Now, if you kept doing this, you could actually create a washcloth, or you could create a hot pad if you had the correct yarn. I suggest that you use cotton yarn, as acrylic yarn can melt, and that would defeat the purpose of a hot pad. All right, same thing, chain it, turn it like, here we go again. Just one more row, and then I will show you how to tie off if you are working your crochet. I'm still holding it the same exact way as I did in the beginning, and I'm just moving down and controlling it with my left hand. Sometimes I'll lose the tension on it, and so I'll drop it and I'll pick it up again because it'll either be too tight or it'll be too loose, and so I like to adjust. So here we go again. See how nice and even this looks? So you can tell where we chained. It's going to look a little bit different than what the other side's going to look like. And if you're working on a blanket, you would adjust that. But for today's video, we're not going to worry about that. We're just learning how to single crochet. If you're done with your work and you wanted to finish a project, this is how you tie off. So you just ended that row. You're going to take, you're going to pull it through the loop. And if you notice, I did not chain that like on all the rest of them. I just ended the crochet. Now you're going to pull up a loop and you can finish it off. So just create a knot. Oh, here we are. Here's your last one. Pull it up. You have a pair of scissors and you would cut that off. All right, so you have this little piece and then you just pull this through and pull it tight, and now it's created a knot. And then you would weave these in. You weave your ends into your work. So with a darning needle, this is a metal needle that bent a little bit. So you'll take, and I just weave it in through the ends at least 3 or 4 times so it doesn't pull out. So you take and you weave it in through your other work. Because sometimes what happens, if this was a blanket or something that somebody was using, so now I'm going to go up through here. There's no rhyme and reason. Where I go, I just weave it through at least 4 times because I made a blanket for my brother. Actually, I'm going to do 5 times just because I'm going to go over the top. So I'm going to weave it back through right there, pull it out. So I made a blanket for my brother, and I did not weave in the ends as many times as I needed to, and it pulled out. And so I have had that in to fix it twice, which is not fun once you've finished a project. So then you just trim it as close as you can without snipping your work, and then you just kind of adjust it and work that end in there, and now you can't even tell where I worked it in. All right, so I can do the same thing with this end right here. So I'm gonna and if you're careful where your placement is, it's not going to be big and bulky. It can be in the similar area, but not in the same loop, and then you won't have a big old bunch. So now I'm going to trim that. And give it just a tiny bit of a tail, and then you just kind of work it in there, and you can't even see the tail that I worked in. So there is, and acrylic yarn, well, actually most yarns kind of want to flip up, and you would want, if you're making like granny squares or something, you would want to block it, and that again is for another video for another. But there you go with chaining and single crochet. You could make this into a headband, you can make this into a bracelet, you can make all sorts of things with chaining and single crochet. I will touch on in triple